Hi, and welcome back. This is COMM1160 Week 5, video number 3. And in this video, we're going to talk about writing article and chapter summaries. This is going to come into play next week when I'm going to be giving you an assignment where I'm going to be asking you to write some article and chapter summaries. So we've looked so far at taking notes and how to actively read a journal article or a book chapter when you're gathering information. It's important to do that just when you're reading in general, but it's also very helpful to prepare to write summaries. And summary writing is an activity that you're going to do a lot of, not only in your future as a healthcare student, but also when you graduate and you're working as a professional. You may be tasked with doing all sorts of research, reading all sorts of articles and chapters, and then providing summaries of those articles and chapters as people are preparing for patient care or other activities, okay, related to medicine. So we need to talk about summaries and what they are and what they look like. A summary is usually a short, focused, single paragraph that goes over the main points of an article or a single chapter in a book. And they're written in a way that allows a person who hasn't read the original to get the main gist or the main idea of what is in that article or chapter. So it's not an opinion piece. It really is truly a summarization. You're pulling the main ideas from what you're reading and presenting it in a short single paragraph for somebody that doesn't have the opportunity to read the full original. They're usually around 8 to 10 sentences long. But like all rules, this is meant to be broken. If you're summarizing something that's very, very long, say a very long chapter, your summary might actually be a little bit longer. So it really depends. I'm going to say, though, between 8 and 10 is about a good guideline because that's going to help you be able to express all of the main ideas. It's difficult because you're taking something that's multiple pages and reducing it or kind of shrinking it down to a single paragraph. Summaries are also written in paraphrased format. So you usually do not use direct quotations in a summary. You're expressing the author's main idea and the ideas that they're covering in the article or chapter in your own way. Again, important to keep in mind, I know I've just mentioned this, but it should be able to be read and understood by someone who has not read the full article or chapter. So think of a summary in the same way that you might describe a movie that you've seen to someone that hasn't seen the movie. You tell the story of what happened, right? They give a brief overview or brief summary of the plot line. In a summary, you're doing the same kind of thing, except what you're doing is you're giving somebody an overview of an article or of a chapter that you've read. Okay, how do you even begin writing a summary? The first thing to do is to write a short summary of the author's primary purpose in writing the article or the chapter. What are they trying to do? Are they trying to explain a study that's been done in some type of a setting? Are they reviewing literature? Are they introducing a concept or an idea? What is the purpose? And you can actually even ask yourself that as you're reading the article or the chapter. What is the main purpose of this article or chapter? What is the main idea that this author is trying to get across? And then you're going to go through the article or the chapter, break it down, and identify the main supporting ideas that come across in that article or chapter. And then write short summaries, literally just a sentence, of each of the author's main ideas. Once you've done your draft, you want to revise your summary so that it reads smoothly from section to section. And you also want to document your summary in APA style. Okay, so that's part of the job too. I do have a handout for you that I think explains this a little bit better. That was just some general stuff. Excuse me. So I'm going to turn to the handout about writing an article summary. Let's take a look at it together. So your first step really is to either photocopy your article or your chapter or print your article or chapter so that you can mark it up as necessary. Okay, so again, you can highlight, you can underline, you can write over on the margins. You want to read the article carefully, and you want to identify the author's main purpose in writing the article. Take a look at the structure of the article as well. Okay, what are the main sections? Some articles or chapters may have subheadings to help guide you through the main sections, others may not. Okay, so take a look at that. Then you want to reread the article. And this time you want to underline or highlight the main points of the article and the key words that express those main ideas. Then it's time to actually start writing, okay, to start drafting. So the first thing you want to do is write a short summary of the author's primary purpose in writing the article. And again, this can be just a sentence or two. So you really are condensing, okay? What exactly is the author doing in this article or chapter? Then go through each of the main ideas and write short summaries of each of those main ideas. So take a look at what you've highlighted or underlined, condense that down to a single sentence so that you're covering each of the main points. Again, once you're done your draft of it, revise your summary so that it reads smoothly from section to section. And then again, make sure that you're documenting your summary in APA style. Let's take a look at what this looks like, though, practically speaking. And I think working from an example is probably the easiest way to learn summary writing. So on the second half of this handout, there is a summary, okay, that has been written by someone. It is broken up. If this were presented as an assignment, it would be a single paragraph, but it's broken up, okay, to show you the different parts of the summary. So this first part, this author has identified the author's purpose. They also mention the author's name, and they identify what the main idea of the article is. So if you take a look, it's written in this article, David Hazar, which is the last name of the author, 2016, observes that the manner in which healthcare providers demonstrate care and concern for their patients significantly influences how patients and their significant others cooperate with and comply with treatment plans, arouses patients' hopefulness and optimism about their recovery, and reduces the likelihood that patients will feel compelled to take legal action against their healthcare providers. Okay, so this single sentence is a long sentence, but it identifies the main purpose behind the article. You'll have to excuse me. I am coughing today. I am fine. It's not COVID or anything, but I am a little dry, so you may be hearing me drinking water. Okay, that should clear me up a little bit. Okay, let's get back to it here. Excuse me. So this first sentence, okay, does a couple of things. It identifies the author's name, okay, which is definitely something that you want to do when you're writing your own summaries. And then it uses a verb, okay, to identify the purpose, what the author is doing, and then it identifies the main point. And so there's, I guess, three big things, okay, in this original article that are being mentioned, okay? So they're listing them out, A, B, and C. You may have only one main thing being done in your article or chapter. You may have several main things being done in your article or chapter. You're going to analyze that, okay? And then as you're writing your summary, you're going to introduce the main point or the main points there, okay? It then goes on to say the majority of the article consists of suggestions for how healthcare providers can improve their bedside manner. And again, notice that APA in-text citation there. Okay, so that's the first part of the paragraph. The next part of the paragraph is where there's a summarization of each of the supporting points. So the person who read this original article went through and they identified the big main points that this author was making. And you'll see here, okay, that I haven't given you the full paragraph, okay, but to show what you would start to do. So again, using the author's name, David Hazar begins by noting the importance of making a favorable first impression, which quote, blah, 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 okay? And then the person indicates that they go on to summarize how the author says to do this, that, or the other thing. Again, quoting not to fill space, but only if the way that he says something is particularly significant. Then, okay, it goes on to another main point. Other directions David Hazar offers include actively communicating interest and concern, blah, 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 blah. And you'll notice, okay, that in the summary, a lot of listing is done. Okay, so this is what the article is about. So it's about actively communicating interest and concern, using words and actions to communicate empathy and respect, practicing attending skills, on and on and on. In the actual original article, these may be little sections, okay, within the article. But remember, what we're doing is we're trying to give somebody just a very quick impression, okay, or quick review of what the article is about. Then finally, at the end of the summary paragraph, this author summarizes their original author's conclusion. So take a close look at the end of the chapter or at the end of the article that you're summarizing and be able to identify, how that original author concludes. Okay, what they say at the end about the particular topic that they're dealing with, and write a sentence that summarizes that. Okay, so if you put all this together into a single paragraph, it would be about 8 to 10 sentences long, and it would allow somebody that hasn't read the original article to get a fairly good idea of what that original article is about. The best test you can do with an article or a chapter summary is to have somebody else read it, somebody who's not read your original, and be able to say to them, do you get the main idea from reading my summary? Do you get the main idea of what this article or chapter is about? If they're able to say yes, you've probably written a successful summary. If they say no, I really can't follow what you're saying here at all, and then you need to go back and clarify your summary. But again, think about writing when you're writing these summaries for someone, a stranger who's not had the opportunity to read the original work. What is the most important stuff that you would tell them about this particular article or chapter? Right? I always think, I've used the example before, it's exactly like telling somebody about the plot of a movie or a TV show. You're not going to be able to cover every single detail and every single thing that happened, but you can, in a short description, give them an idea of what happened in the 2 hours that the movie ran or the half an hour that the television show ran. Doing the same thing, okay, with summary writing. So next week, I am going to be asking you to write some summaries. You're going to be reading some articles and chapters for your next project. So please be sure to hang on to this handout so that you have the actual summary writing format. There's also lots of information available on the web about summarizing journal articles or summarizing chapters. If you have some time this week, those might be useful to look at as well. I think you'll see, though, that most of them reinforce exactly what I've gone through with you here in the video. They cover, pulling the main point, etc. But it also might give you an opportunity to look at a few more examples of journal article or chapter summaries. And again, looking at examples oftentimes is the best way to learn. I'll talk to you next week. Again, a reminder, there is no assignment due this week. If you have some additional time, though, after you've watched the videos, I will have some suggestions for you on the weekly to-do list of some activities that you can engage in to start getting ready for next week, which I'll warn you will be a brutal week. I am giving you a big assignment next week. Stay happy, stay safe. I hope everything is going well. As usual, if you have any questions or concerns, please pop into the Monday chat. I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.